What's up, Learn Wealthy community? How you doing? This is James Santiago, and we're back. We haven't been making any video for a while. I wasn't slacking, as most of you know from my past videos, that I am most happy when I'm productive. I haven't been unproductive. I've been learning how to talk, and so this video right here is unscripted, just like one of my last recent videos. One of my first unscripted video. This is my first unscripted video in the studio, basically. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of inspiration from the politicians. As you know, it's a coming election, and they're just going at it. I think on the debate, some of them have teleprompters. Maybe you know, I won't mention any names, but yeah, on the debate, I don't think they have any teleprompters. But they can just like go up there, say whatever they want, and a lot of them even lie, most of them, and you know, a lot of people, they don't even talk well, and they're old, you know, most of them, and then they don't even have the stamina, and so I have to like gain that mindset, that confidence that I can talk better than them. I have the stamina, and I'm young, and I have the knowledge, you know. So I've been working on myself, you know. I forgot this this guy, but you know, you work on yourself, and then you make a fortune. It's a great speaker. I'll post a video of him just on top of this video.
This philosophy. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's the simple philosophy that changed my life forever, starting age 25. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is fine. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune, which is super fine. I didn't mind working hard on my job, but things didn't seem to change that much. Then I started.
Yeah. So yeah, today we're gonna talk about the inverted yield curve. Why do we want to talk about it right now? Because it's almost un-inverting, and I'm gonna explain the basics again, the fundamentals, and I'm gonna tell you where we are now in economics and what's happening in the monetary system. All right. So so we're here in Federal Reserve's website, the Fed, the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. The Federal Reserve has like 21 something branches, and this is one of them. And yeah, Fred chart, not my chart, not a conspiracy theorist. It's from directly to the government chart. Their words, not mine. Their data, not mine. So yeah, what is the 10-year and 2-year Treasury spread? So the Treasury is basically a security that you can buy in the government, in the Treasury, U.S. Treasury. And it basically gives you a return like a bond. It's basically a bond, right? So you buy a 10-year Treasury, they promise you, let's say, a 10% return, you know, over 10 years. You buy a 2-year Treasury, they promise you, let's say, a 5% return over 2 years. So usually the 10-year Treasury has a higher return or higher yield because, you know, you'll keep your money there for a longer amount of time. Therefore, you're not holding that money, you're putting that risk in there for a longer period of time. Therefore, your yield should be higher. You know, it just makes sense. But a few times in history, the 2-year Treasury will have a higher yield during the more than the 10-year Treasury, and that's when this inversion in the spread happens, when the 2-year Treasury is higher than the 10-year Treasury. So you can also see this in other Treasury spreads. You can see this in the 3 months too, because there's many kinds of products for the U.S. Treasury. There's up to 30 years. You know, there's 3 months Treasuries. There's 6 months Treasuries. So you can see this sometimes in a 6 months to 18 months Treasury. You can see this on a 2-year and 30-year Treasury. You know, but you know, the 10-year and 2-year Treasury is just a good way to look at it. It's basically the long term of the curve versus the short term of the curve. So in this case, the short term is the 2-year, the long term is the 10-year. And in a real inversion, usually all of those short term versus long term, all of those will be inverted. The short term treasuries will have a higher return than the long term treasury, and that's when this chart inverts. Oh, sorry about that. What did I just click? All right. So as you can see, we've been inverted for a while, since 2022. It's about 2 years. 2 years now that we've been inverted. And usually after an inversion, few months after inversion, we get a recession. Not usually. It's pretty accurate, like nearly 100%. I would say like 99.9%. We get a recession after an inversion. So look at this, like 2019, it was this is August 2019, we had an inversion, right? It's a super tiny inversion. And then coming in like end of 2019, we start hearing the virus, and then 2020, boom, we had a recession here, right? We had a recession on this gray bar right here is a recession. So we had a recession like February 3 all the way to April 30, March 27, April 3, somewhere there. We had a short recession with a small yield curve inversion, right? So let's go back in history even more. So these gray bars are the recession. So we had an inversion right here, a yield curve inversion. The 2-year spread had a higher yield than the long-term, than the 10-year treasury or the long-term treasury. So right here, we had a small inversion right here. And then it led to a recession after a few months. It's always a few months after the inversion. So, yep, this recession was the dot-com bust, the 2021 to, basically the 2001 recession. And this is the 2008 recession, the GFC, the Great Financial Crisis. It's kind of long. It's like over 2 years a little bit, 2007-ish, end of 2007, beginning 2008 to like 2009, right? We had a long yield curve inversion right here. So we had a long recession. Think of this. This is the inversion that we have right now. So we've been heading for a recession for a while now. But you can actually postpone recession. Not us, but the government. You know, like BTFP. You know how we had all these banking crises on 2023. We had the Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank. We had like First Republic Bank. Heartland Tri-State Bank and Citizens Bank, Sac City, and even globally the Deutsche Bank. So arguably we would have had this yield curve would have un-inverted because it's in the un-inversion when the recession happens. A few months after the un-inversion. So arguably this yield curve inversion would have already un-inverted last year, 2023, if it weren't for the bailouts or the money printing. And then the government on March 2023, they started that BTFP that will bail out these banks that are gonna foreclose. They were gonna lend them money. That's called printing money, and some people say printing money is not real. But yeah, they're creating currency. They're lending these banks free money so they can get bailed out, right? So that they can get bailed out and to save them from being bankrupt. And so they made Chase buy some of these banks that are having trouble last year also. So yeah, inverted yield curve right here. February 1989, it uninverted and it led to a recession in the 1990 This bar right here is a recession. So it's very, very, very extremely consistent if you go way back. We always have an inversion in recession, inversion, recession, inversion, recession, inversion, recession. So we're going to a presidential like election. It doesn't matter who wins, basically. According to this chart, we're headed for a recession. It doesn't matter, left, right. Most likely it will land on the next president. It's gonna be blamed. But all that is building up during this time period, 2022 to 2024. Because inflation, wages not keeping up, and then people had to tap out. We can't afford anything anymore. They back up. And recession, a lot of times, that's why they call like a deflationary recession every now and then, because people will hold back on their spending, and the spending encourages inflation too, right? When people have money, when money is showered to people like stimulus checks and everything, or like subsidies, people will be spending because that's what they know what to do. So it will encourage inflation, So price will just go up, and eventually inflation keeps happening. Eventually people will tap out. People will run out of money, and people will even extend this because debt is available in our debt system, in our monetary system. Debt is available, so they will keep this insatiable quench to just spend money, and even extend it all the way to their credits. And eventually they're gonna have to tap out because there's gonna be no more money. There's not gonna be no more credits because wealth is not about the currency units or spending. It's about the production. It's about the stuff that you produce. So yeah, eventually people are gonna have to tap out, and we're gonna have a deflationary recession. And throughout history, most recessions are deflationary. Not all, but a lot of recessions are deflationary. So let's look at that chart that's saying that wages are not keeping up with inflation. Federal Reserve's chart, wages versus inflation. On the official one, the government, where people have the most trust to, like, people love the government, right? So a lot of people argue left and right. They're saying Biden's administration we have a lot of jobs, right? We have a lot of jobs, and there's a lot of argument there. There's a U3 report, U6 report. There's the establishment survey, the household survey. And all these other people would say, there's a lot of jobs during Biden's term. But yeah, maybe there is, maybe not. But also there's a lot of details into it. Like if you look at the we'll go back to this chart. We'll get a new window for now. Define establishment survey. So establishment survey, a survey of a sample of establishment or enterprise that seeks to measure the behavior, structure of output of currency. Jobs, sorry. Provides estimate of non-farm payrolls, average weekly hours worked, and average hourly and weekly earnings nationwide, as well as by state and metropolitan area, and by industry. The report also tallies the hours worked and earnings. And then you have the define household survey. The current population survey is based on household interviews conducted each month by the U.S. Census Bureau of Labor Statistics, and provides comprehensive data on labor force, including those who are employed and unemployed. So there's a lot of ordeal about this. It's We basically have to go through the whole Bureau of Labor and Statistics website. They're the ones who produce all this. There's U3 reports, U6 reports. It's a lot of read, and most people aren't really getting 2 jobs getting reported in one of those surveys. I believe it was the establishment. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. That a lot of people with 2 jobs, it's saying on the survey that there's 2 jobs for that person, but it's just actually one person having 2 jobs because they can't take it anymore, because wages can't keep up with inflation. And this Fred chart right here is the proof that wages can't keep up with inflation. So since Biden got into term here, this is the wages, right? Employed full-time median weekly earnings, wages and salary workers. Let me see if it's real earnings. There you go. Real, right? Nominals means it's just the number itself. They don't multiply it with the inflation. So real, when they say real rates, it means adjusted for inflation. When they say real earnings, it means the earnings is adjusted for inflation. They multiply the CPI. They incorporate the CPI on this. So these wages, these are wages adjusted to inflation. That's why it says real earnings, right? When you say real returns, a lot of people don't adjust their returns on their 401k. They only read the nominal returns on their 401k statements because they're not financially educated to do this. They have to adjust. They got to make sure they're beating inflation so their standard of living keeps getting better, you know? So they have to get their real returns whenever they're looking at their investment portfolio. Everybody should. So look at these earnings, the average aggregate earnings of employed full-time people. Not a conspiracy theory, you know. I don't have any. This is the government chart themselves, but they're not really emphasizing this really important, like, about the real economy. Real economy is the people. People actually having a hard time. So whatever is happening in the stock market, which is very fundamentally unsound, is different from the real economy, which is the people. How hard it is for everyone to live. How hard it is for everyone to afford groceries and eggs and whatever, you know, and gas. So, and real estate, and buy real estate in California, you know. Yeah. So this is it. To 2020, you know, wages against inflation just kept going down, all the way to the present until the 2024 second quarter, right? You can basically draw a line there that wages against inflation just kept falling. And a lot of mainstream media, economy is good, it's great, but here, Federal Reserve's website, government chart, not my chart, not their words, not mine. You know, but they're gonna say the economy is great, the economy is booming, the economy is on fire. But here it is. This chart, look at this. Look at this. People know though. People are smart. Like they know, like, oh, I can't keep up with you know, the groceries and all that stuff. You know, everything's getting expensive. People know, people are smart. Is what it is. Wages has not been keeping up with inflation during the Biden administration. This is not a political, you know, I think, I don't want this to be a political channel. I want this to be a macroeconomic channel. Just by the chart. We're just reading charts. We're not, you know, we're just reading charts. The economy, the wages is just not keeping up with inflation. And people in the real economy are having a hard time purchasing anything right now. And if you look at, I'm not even going to go through the credit card debt statistics and you know, and that foreclosure might be going back soon. Like all these, we have a super low inventory. Take a look at that. Take a look at that data yourself. I don't know if I have time to make a video of all that, but like look at credit card debts. Just at least look at credit card debts now. People are really trying to extend it. They're spending their habits that they just acquired during the stimulus. That was it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video if you like this video. All right, that was it. Thank you.